Hey everyone, thank you so much for buying a sign from us here at Maker Table. I know it's always confusing when you get it about how to mount it, so we're making this video to just kind of explain real quick the two most common ways of mounting this sign. Your first option and most common is indoors on drywall or a stud frame wall, so we're going to cover that real quick. And then the second option that's also pretty common is outdoors on masonry, block, CMU, or concrete, so we're also going to cover that as well. The first option you have, and this is really the best, the gold standard, is to get yourself a stud finder and some regular old wood screws and find a stud on your wall, mark its location, and get at least one screw in a stud. You're definitely not going to have any issues with these signs if you find at least one stud when you're mounting it. But that's not always the best solution for everyone, and it's not totally required for any sign that we make under 3 feet. So if you have a sign that's in the 2 foot, 18 inch, 30 inch range, you can really get away with these drywall anchors, and these don't require you to find your stud or anything. This is the easiest way to mount it. Literally all you have to do is find a spot in your house, level up the sign, and screw it into the wall. You're in business. But if you guys really want to make sure that it's done the right way, we're going to start with finding a stud and driving a screw into framing in your wall. So first step is grab your stud finder, place it on the wall, turn it on, and you need to slowly swipe it across the wall until you find your stud. These all have kind of different styles to them, but basically it's the same principle. It's going to help you find the edge of each stud, and sometimes it's up to you to find the center. This one's kind of fancy, so it finds center for us, but it's not totally required. So once you find your stud, it's best to get one screw or anchor into the sign. That way it's holding itself up on the wall. You know it's going to need to be in that stud, so go ahead and get that first anchor in there and get the sign holding up so you don't have to use a third hand or anything. Next, you're going to need to grab a torpedo level to help you get this sign level. You can also use a friend across the room to help you get it lined up if that's easier and you don't have one of these, but this is really the best option. If you don't have a torpedo level, there's also some apps on your phone you can download. I've used Bubble Level in the past and it seemed to work for me before, so you guys may want to give something like that a shot. Once you have 2 screws in this thing, it's level, it's where it's going to be, and the last 2 screws are really just about keeping it flat on the wall and making sure it doesn't go anywhere, so you can go ahead and drive those in at this time. The second option is with these simple little drywall anchors. It's basically the same steps, except you don't need to find a stud. These anchors are good for 50 pounds, and you can find them at your local hardware store. Nothing crazy here. All right, now that we covered indoor, let's go ahead and head outside and we'll cover how to mount your outdoor sign. Mounting a sign outdoors usually occurs on some sort of concrete, brick, CMU, masonry, and the anchor styles are pretty similar. There's a wedge anchor, and then there's this style called the Tapcon that's a little bit easier to use. The biggest difference between mounting a sign to wood or drywall as opposed to masonry is you do have to pre-drill a hole before you can actually drive that anchor into the wall. It's just not going to work if you go straight in. You need a special kind of anchor that's made for concrete or masonry, and on the package they'll tell you what size drill bit you're going to need. And this is the correct size drill bit. It's a 5/32 for the 3/16 masonry screw. So first order of business is you're going to need some sort of marking tool. Also, I really recommend you wear safety glasses and have some gloves handy, because this can definitely throw chips out at you when you drill it. But you're going to want to set your sign up, get it level, and you want to make sure that your hole is 2 inches away from any edge, because if you drill this sometimes really close to an edge, it'll end up blowing it out, and you'll have bigger issues than just mounting your sign. So once you get it where you like it, you can just mark it in a couple spots here, the center of each of these holes. Then we're going to load up that special bit in our hammer drill. This drill is a little bit different. It has the regular screw function for wood, drill for drilling metals, and a hammer drill section. And you really need a hammer drill to get into masonry. It'll make your life a lot easier. Find your layout holes, and you want to go about the distance of the screw. Once you have your pilot holes drilled, you can switch out to a regular screwdriver bit. And then you'll take your drill off of hammer, because we're not drilling anymore. We just need to drive this screw. And from here, basically the same as mounting it on anything else. There's one. There you go. And then you can go ahead and finish up and drill these last two spots right here, and you're mounted to masonry, guys. Just that simple.